Hux in a microwave approach, focusing on stalkers one by one.
Coming in from every single angle. There's a Time Warp, but look at this concave, this crescent moon.
This is what's going to happen now. The supply goes in Huck's favor.
He's just going to barrel through, take out whatever. So much bile here coming forth.
Looking like Nesty is going to take it here.
Dancing the roaches a little bit. Scarlet.
Now the Hydras are exposed. Those Mutas are going to die, and it's not really going to make that much of a difference for GG.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, from New York City. It is time for day number 4 of our coverage of the round of 32 of the WCS America Premier League. My name is Axel Toss. I am joined by Axlab. How are you doing, Axlab?
I'm doing excellent.
Yes.
We've seen a lot of great matches where
everywhere in the world.
we have.
Can we be honest?
Yes. Yes.
Like, let's think about the last 24 hours of Starcraft for a second. We started off with WCS America yesterday where we had ridiculous matches, and then some crazy people stayed up to watch the Group of Death in Korea involving Flash Innovation, Parting, and Life.
Then there was Europe just
and there's
about
Europe where
5
Naniwa
hours
was
ago.
playing. It's just like, and now we're here in probably the hardest group of all the groups, in my personal opinion. But we're going to talk all about that. Of course, this is WCS America and our coverage of the round of 32 in the Premier League. Of course, 32 players. We're going to show them on the screen right about now. We already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 decided that are on to the next round, round of 16. Nesty, Apocalypse, the SEC, Snoot, Alicia, Moonglade. We've done Group E, we've done Group F, we've done Group H, and now after today, we'll be halfway through the round of 32.
That's right. Today we've got a nice special group for you guys.
Yes, it's going to be Group A, but first I want to talk a little bit about yesterday.
Yes.
Because yesterday might have been my favorite night of WCS America so far.
I would have to agree. There were some absolutely amazing matches yesterday. You know, the Illusion Moonglade series was a really great series.
Now,
but,
we have
but
to
for
be
me,
specific there when you say that,
there was
because
two
there were
series.
two series of but fair.
Okay.
Good answer, Nick. We don't. And Nick's like, no, we don't have to be specific because they were both epic. And you're right.
of course, Moonglade did end up advancing, winning the last series over Illusion. But for me, the highlight of that entire day was the best of 3 between Illusion and Alicia. Of course, they met in the winner's match.
Yeah.
Alicia ended up winning 2-1, but it was a very intense, all 3 games.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? The only game that wasn't close
was game
2, where Illusion stomped Alicia. Both the games Alicia beat Illusion, they were insanely close, and that could have been, like, it was so close to being an immense upset.
Yeah.
And Illusion taking out Alicia.
You know, it was interesting because Illusion, he turned on his stream not 30 minutes to an hour after that group completed, and he literally went over the replay and was actually, you know, talking about the games and how they went. And he was, you know, he was saying if he had Cloak in that last engagement on Belshir Vestige, he would have, like, he didn't say he would have won, but he understood how, because that was really important.
He would have won.
Alicia didn't have any, of course, yeah, he would have won. A lot of people are watching like, okay, what are you talking about, Axel Toss? I didn't see the games. I feel left out. But you're in luck. Why, Nick? Why are they in luck?
Why? Because, of course, every piece of content MLG does, you can find at youtube.com/official MLGSC2 in free 1080p quality.
Check it out. 1080p. It's good stuff. All the matches are already there that we've all casted so far. So today's groups, we should talk about it. I said it before, and I'm sticking to my guns. This is the Group of Death of the round of 32 America, in my personal opinion. Look at these names: Killer, Hero, Major, Alive. So many storylines here. We got Killer, of course, who was probably one of the most underrated players in the scene right now from South America. Everyone sees him in this group of form like he's the weakest. He's not going to make it out. He's not going to win a game. Well, I'm going to say to you, you are wrong, because Killer, he's really good at Starcraft.
He is. Killer is insanely good. A lot of people forget. Last year, WCS 2012, he had an insane run. And then, you know, they're like, oh, that was last year, Wings to Liberty. What about MLG Dallas?
Yeah.
He destroyed Thorzane. Like, he actually, go check out those replays. MLG Winter Championships at Dallas. You can find it on YouTube.
Boom.
Thorzane versus Killer. Killer just showed why.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, why he's so good. And you know, yes, he's from Chile. it's a little bit tough for him to travel around. So he's not
Right.
at all the tournaments, but he really proved that he's very great. But I mean, honestly, how great he is, he might be the least of this group.
Of course,
in a way,
yeah,
because he got Korean guys.
Absolutely. And we're going to talk a lot more about these players individually, but, you know, Hero, Alive, EGTL, you know, the amazing players. They're over in Korea playing in Pro League. Major, he's like, you know what, North America is fun and all, but I think the place to be is Korea. And he might be right. He's been practicing at the... He's on a Pro League team. One of the only foreigners on a Pro League team. But here is the match order for the night. Killer versus Alive is going to be starting things off a best of 3. The winner of that will advance to the winner's match. Hero versus Major will be after that. The winner of that will advance to the winner's match. Then the winner's match will happen. The winner of the winner's match qualifies. Seed number 1 for the round of 16. And then we go on to the loser's match, where the loser of that is going to be in the Challenger League. The winner advances to the last match of the night, where it's the loser of the winner's match versus the winner of the loser's match. The winner of that gets into the round of 16. That made sense in my mind. Hopefully it made sense to you.
First match, of course, is going to be Killer versus Alive. Of course, already talked a little bit about Killer, but a couple more details about him. It is pretty much every tournament in South America this guy wins.
Yes.
I mean, just like literally from the Pan America tournaments to the WCS tournaments, everything, it's all first place. He's the South American player. I mean, there's a lot of other good ones too, Phoenix, etc. But this is overall the best guy from South America.
Look at that
very
percentage against Terran, 57%. You know, I dare say that might be his best matchup. Now, Killer also, it's not listed here, but he was 5th through 8th at the World Championships in Shanghai. I think it was him, Sen, and Vortex maybe, or the last remaining non-Koreans. Was it oh yeah, Suppi. So it might have been 4.
Vortex didn't make it to the top 8.
Was it Lucifron then? I know it was on it because they played each other, right?
Wait, you're talking about WCS Europe or?
No. The finals. In Shanghai.
Yeah, but I don't think either made top 8.
Well, Killer was top 8.
Yes.
And so, like, a lot of people don't necessarily know that. And that's actually really important. He's one of the best non-Koreans to honestly ever play Starcraft 2. So definitely look out for him. Also, he's playing Alive. Alive has a lot of story behind him. If y'all want to play trivia games against your friends and they're not watching this right now and say, hey, who won IPL 4? Alive did it. Alive is the answer, but not a lot of people are going to be able to guess that. He is very underrated, in my personal opinion. Of course, you know, got a little bit more eyes on him because he was recently picked up by Team Evil Geniuses, and as soon as that happened, he went and started destroying FaZe in Pro League. At least the first couple games he played. I think he won the first 2 at the very least, and helped EGTL get victories. But Alive, a very consistent Korean player.
He is. You know, consistency is the best way to describe Alive. This guy's been in GSL since 2010. He's been in there from the start, and he's pretty much never... He hasn't missed a single of their regular seasons. He's only not qualified for one GSL event in the last 3 years, and that was, I think, one of their like World Cup Super Tournaments he missed out on. Besides that, he's always there. He's always a name in that list of top Korean players. He's never once dropped off the scene. Consistency is how to describe this guy, an amazing Terran player from Korea.
Alive versus Killer. This is going to be a best of 3 that a lot of people are saying, okay, Alive on paper should probably win, but I'm here to tell you that Killer is I feel like he's going to come out fine. Like, he's been practicing a lot for this, and his ZVT is probably one of his best matchups, so do not count him out by any means. The players in the lobby right now, I'm asking them if they're ready. Who do you got in this best of 3? You got Alive or Killer?
I don't have anyone.
Oh.
I always pick someone except for this time. I can't do it. Because I just feel I haven't seen Killer play online tournaments very much. And the reason why is because he typically avoids online tournaments because playing from Chile is very difficult.
Yes.
But his opponent's playing from Korea, so it should even out the odds a bit. And Killer on land is a monster. He's an absolute land monster. But I have no idea what to expect here.
All right, guys, here we are in the first game of the night. This is our coverage of Group A, round of 32, WCS America Premier League. Many saying this is the group of death of the 8 round of 32 groups. Now would be the time to get on Twitter, get on Reddit, get on Team Liquid, join the conversation so nobody misses what should be an epic night of StarCraft 2. The top right-hand location of Whirlwind, we have your Red Zerg player hailing from Chile, representing Team Clarity Gaming. He is the defending 2012 WCS South America champion. He is Killer. His opponent in the bottom right-hand location recently picked up by Team Evil Geniuses and for good reason. You won IPL 4 and is one of the top Terran players currently playing the game. He is alive. I think we can agree, Nick, that Killer is going to be considered the underdog here.
Definitely.
I mean, sure, we're not. Of course, you're not going to necessarily try to pick a winner, but I feel like a lot of people watching, when you're looking, and it's a fair argument, right? You know, when you're looking at results, when you're looking at, you know, how much they're playing, where they're playing, on paper, Alive should win this game. But I do think, I agree with you, I think Killer has a good chance to pull off an upset here.
He definitely does. And that's the thing is Killer's actually never competed in an event and hasn't done well. It's just that, you know, he has, but I guess you can say the same thing about Live. I mean, Live's, he's never once fallen out of Code. And actually, he's basically jumped half the time in Code S, half the time in Code A consistently for the last 2.5 years. So he's always in that top, you know, group of Koreans. So they're both extremely consistent. But this group, you know, I guess two people can't advance. But in this series, only one of them can win.
Sure. Absolutely. And, you know, talking about the openings right now, I feel like both these players are very macro-oriented. I don't think you're going to see a lot of early game cheese from either of these two guys, you know, at least given the context of the situation, given the importance of these matches. And we're kind of seeing that here, with the Live going straight for that really fast command center first, adding on the barracks next to it. So it's not like he's putting that command center on the low ground. He's not going to be that crazy. Playing it relatively safe, but going for that fast economy. Meanwhile, Killer pretty much doing the exact same thing as far as economy is concerned. Going for the very fast hatchery, following that up with the spawning pool. No gas just yet, which is a little bit interesting because a lot of Terran players have been going for that Reaper opening, which, you know, is leading Zerg players to go for that early gas. So interesting decision here from Killer not to go for that early gas. Apparently feels confident in his drone micro should that Reaper play come, but Reaper play is not coming.
Whirlwind is really not a great map for Reapers.
Yeah.
They can actually only go up to one ramp to natural. There's no jumping patterns, so it's not super great. Also, it's a big map, so it takes a little while to cross it.
Yes.
One thing to note: Whirlwind is a map where typically Zergs love to do giant busts on a Terran third because a Terran third is a little bit exposed. Roach Baleen, Speeding Baleen, those type of busts are insanely popular on Whirlwind, but Killer is like one of the few Zergs in this era where every Zerg loves doing these giant attacks. He actually is one of the least aggressive Zergs in this matchup. If you remember watching his matchup versus Thorzane, you know, he was more than happy to play a late game series versus Thorzane, who's known for his late game. And Killer says, I don't care if you're known for your late game, this is what I do. And he won very convincingly in that series. And every single map went to the late game. So even on Whirlwind, the map that most Zergs like to do these giant denial of the third type strategies, I'm not certain Killer is going to adopt that style. He may, but it's just so against his normal. It's like, it's one thing, it's against his normal style, but then knowing this map is so good for it, and in the best of 3, maybe he'll try to break it out here, but most likely we'll see him do his standard just defensive play, rely on those spellcaster units in the late game.
Pretty fast layer here from Killer. No evolution chambers on the ground.
Ooh.
Is he going mutas really fast? Is that what this is?
It's probably fast mutas. I can't think of any other reason why he would get lair quite this fast. Yeah. I mean, there are some weird like Nidus builds,
his third was denied. Is there a sense of, okay, he was going to take a third, but since this engineering base here, okay, I guess I'll go for a faster layer?
Maybe.
I don't know if that's something that would directly change his strategy.
Oh, it looks like he may be very fast layer in the Roach Warren.
That could be
chamber.
a fake, because it's at the front.
It could be a fake, or it could be one of these Nidus plays. I was talking about it could be mutas, or it could be, there are some crazy Nidus plays. And Whirlwind's a map where there's actually a decent amount of space in the main. So you can actually hide those Niduses in the main of the opponent sometimes. Knowing that Whirlwind Terrans love to go the fast 3 CC, in fact, Alive did open that.
Yes.
That is a possibility.
Of course, you know, Alive right now, investing a lot in economy. He's going to be on 3 orbital commands. Meanwhile,
Overlord spewing creep at the left side of Killer's main. And the drones... Oh, he misplaced the Overlord.
Oh,
he had a drone there.
Okay, he's remaking it over here.
Okay, it is far.
Yeah.
He meant to put it over there, though.
So that's kind of a fake Roach Swarm, in a sense.
It is.
Or Another, you can get like a couple roaches out, maybe even show the roaches, and then your opponent thinks, okay, you're going, you know, there's no way you're going Muta. But Alive knows his opponent is on 2 bases. That third hatchery is being added on. So I'm wondering what Alive is thinking right now. It's up to him right now to scout this, because he has 3 orbital commands on the ground. 2
Did his can't see it?
He barely missed it.
Oh, great placement by Killer.
So what's happening here is Alive investing a lot into his economy, into upgrades, into late game stuff. Killer going straight for the mutas. So Killer, it's good so far that Alive hasn't scouted this, but he's going to need to do a decent amount of damage with these mutas once they get out.
He definitely will. Looking to kill, you know, a couple SCVs. At the very least, get map control for several minutes. We can macro up behind it. Of course, you know, Alive seen the roaches, seen the lair, probably thinks it's a build similar to what Snoot used on Cloud Kingdom against the Agnes, is that they're really fast 2-base speed roach, and then using the speed roaches to contain his opponent, because he's seen the Evil Champer, he's seen the Roach Warren, he's even seen a Roach. So
he's like getting a second bunker, he's keeping all of his units back, he's scared, he doesn't know what's going on.
He's read a 2-base speed roach build, which do exist. It's not like that.
Yeah.
That's a bad read.
Sure.
That's exactly what Killer's shown him. But 10 mutas are in production, 12 mutas are in production. 12 mutas can kill SCVs really fast. If he catches Alive off guard.
Even a Marauder in production too.
Yeah, he's totally sold the build. Great mind games here.
Yeah, and if we're talking about positions too, these mutas aren't going to have to travel a long distance to get to his opponent's main base. In fact, he can take down these 4 Marines straight away if he feels like it, and I think he will. Or he might go directly for that mineral line, take down as many SCVs as possible. Here comes Killer with the mutas. Again, Alive has no idea this is coming. If he did, he'd have turrets out, he'd have Widow Mines in position. The muta's going to target down those 4 Marines, and now Alive has to react. He has to pull some Marines back into the main base, pulling forward some Widow Mines here. There is an Overseer here from Killer Store, anticipating that fact, and a lot of SCVs going down.
Definitely has a couple kills. He's going to swing around. He's even going to pick off these Marines over here. Oh, Overlord, don't die.
Overseer stays alive.
Oh, he stays alive. And he saved his Overlord that was spewing creep at a third, which actually is kind of important, maintaining that denial. He did lose his other Overlord spewing creep at the other potential third. Right here, it's key that Killer delays Alive's third for as long as possible, keeps Alive pinned in 2 bases, while Killer really establishes his 3-base economy.
He's got 61 drones, so a great job there. Sniping some Widow Mines. Nice job there by Killer. Deciding to engage Stim Marines. 1-1 is about to finish, so you've got to start getting really careful. Also, he's not working on any flyer attacks. So that tells me he's not really wanting to rely on mutas necessarily, which means perhaps a faster transition into other tech. Like maybe we're going to see an infestation pit. Okay, well now he's just starting the fire attack, so I'm wondering if that's a little late. But it's not a huge deal, so he is going to be wanting to focus on mutas as this game goes along.
Oh, the Overseer's going to go down.
Oh, Supply Depot.
That's going to burn down. Oh, SCV!
SCV, go! SCV had 1 job. Oh, and he gets healed. Okay, so he's going to build the turret. Little Supply Depot kill, not a gigantic deal, but the important thing here is map control, denying your opponent's 3rd base as Killer. And as of right now, I think he's playing a pretty good game.
He's playing an excellent game. The one thing.
Oh my gosh, circling, get underneath the orbital.
Oh, great block there. Even taking out the Hellings over here on the other side.
He's trying to.
Or he's thinking about blocking. You know what? He could actually focus the orbital with the mutas.
Oh, he could. There's nothing here to defend.
Yeah, I mean, it probably would get back to the natural in time, but it would be a close call.
This Sling needs to recenter himself. Just because you're in the shadow doesn't mean you're blocking it.
Okay, now Live's moving out. Of course, the story here is Killer's 3rd base is very close to Live. It's going to be very difficult to defend, but he's taking a 4th over on the top side, so he can sacrifice that 3rd, you know, if Alive does a dedicated push to it, depending how strong that push is.
I think it'd be cool to get a Spore or 2 down here, because, like, for Medivacs to actually get anything done on this side of the map, well, he does have the mutas, so you can keep patrolling there, but if your mutas on the other side of the map, you know, a Spore I think is not a bad idea, because then you're protecting your natural and your main.
Guerrilla Banings try to get down, and it's still a win. You know, even if he forces scan, now Alive has to be afraid of those Banings throughout the rest of the game. A speeding run by into the 3rd base.
Right when the SCVs are transferring, Alive going to back up. Killers everywhere going to try to sprint into the main. The Supply Depot is not going to get raised up. Listening to by while pulling back because he knows the Widow Mines are there, and now going to change his mind and going to retreat. Might get cut off. No, he's going to be just fine. Marines all going to stim up to this location. Orbital needs to consider lifting up in the air, but looks like the Marines will end up cleaning this up. But again, another nice win there for Killer as far as delaying that mining time.
Oh no, over on the right side.
Oh my god.
A great trap put by Live, takes out 2 mutas, and it could have been a lot worse. A lot of those mutas severely bruised by a double Widow Mine action.
Great positioning there on those Widow Mines. Killer needs to have an Overseer. Well, he does have an Overseer. He needs to be a little bit more careful identifying those Widow Mines. But now we have Alive countering across the map. 2-2 is about to finish. Not a bad timing at all. 2-2 only halfway done. So there is a timing here where Killer won't have 2-2 and his opponent will. However, as long as you pull drones away, it's not a gigantic deal losing a hatchery. However, he's going to try to engage. They're coming forward with the Marines and with the Lings and the Banelings. Widowmine's getting a great shot onto the Banelings there. Killer's going to have to back away. Not a good trade at all there.
No, those Widowmines took out so many of his key Banelings, even losing made the Mulus. But I think he's going to hold on to this base for now.
Yeah, he should be able to. 16 Lings, 26 Lings in production, 6 Banelings, 2-2 just now finishing though for Alive. So he can definitely be really cost efficient. Doesn't want these medevacs to die, of course. He can't necessarily lift up and run away. I guess he can ignite the afterburners to get out of there, but a very dangerous prospect, lifting up all your units. And the medevacs when there are Mutalisks right there. So Alive getting a great trade, killing a lot of Banelings with that Widowmine. But again, the third is just now getting up only 3 SCVs there, interestingly enough. And Killer's on 4 bases. He's on 8 gases, all of them mining. So it's still a fairly even game, I think.
Alive definitely has a stronger army now, but Killer's about to even up the upgrades. Also note Killer's starting to develop that bank. Of course, that's intentional as he does want to transition to Ultralisk once the Ultralisk Cavern is ready.
Also, he can continue with the 3-3 right away since the Hive is done, but Alive still ahead in that regard, not delaying at all, going for the 3-3. Marine's going to be engaging Mutas here at the 4th base, and Killer finally going to be backing away from there. Ultralisk Cavern about to finish. Is Alive going to be ready for this transition?
You know, the question is can Killer get them out in time? I think that top base is dead for sure, but that's actually okay. He still has 4. A drop over here on the right side could be dangerous as well, but actually Killer's reacting very fast.
Oh, sending drones there right away, though. The Baneling's going to explode into those Marines. Medevac going to try to pick up Mutas. Will end up taking that out. Meanwhile, that hatchery taken down at the top side of the map. Broodling's trying to get rid of those Marines, but 3 Ultras in production. I think Alive has been able to identify this. I mean, he's been making 2 Marauders, so you can kind of guess at this point that your opponent will be going for Ultras. So just good play here overall from Alive.
It is, but you know, he doesn't have the mass tech labs he'd really want. Remember, we saw Illusion making 5 or 6, and that's because Alive, it really hasn't had the insane economy he wants. There's no 4th base. His 3rd was on low SCV count for quite a long time. Just now really saturating that base, and by now his main and natural are starting to mine out. So if Killer can deny a 4th base from Alive, that's going to be what his key instrument in win this game, sticking Alive to 3 bases and starving them out.
There's Widowmines all across this map. Killer has to be very careful. Also a lot of Banelings burrowed. So we got Widowmines, we got Baneling landmines. Got mines everywhere, man. It's a minefield here.
Ultralisk Carapace upgrade just finishing up. 6 more Ultralisks are in production. This is going to be very difficult for Alive if you can't deny one of these 4 bases from Killer before all those Ultras are produced.
It's a scary looking Ultras.
Oh,
They got blue
Killer's looking for
flames on their claws. And yes, the flank is coming. Widowmine's getting taken out. Alive going to notice this. Actually going to pick up a drop and head right for that middle right base. But there are 2 Spine Claws there, even on Ultra remaining behind. There's a scan, so Alive able to identify his opponent's unit composition. Adding on 2 additional barracks here. Probably going to put tech labs on those. But Killer trying to find the perfect place to engage. 2 Ultras coming in on their own. You don't want to do that.
Oh no. They do escape. Oh no, they turn around again, get mowed down.
By the way, 3-3 is done here for Alive. The drop going to be going straight for the natural expansion. He's going quite far on the creep. Killer coming forward, and he's going to try to get a flank with Ultras and the Lings. There are some Widowmines here, but the Ultras don't really care so much about those. Widowmines going to try to clean those up. Meanwhile, the drop happening at the natural expansion. Killer having to deal with a lot of multi-prong harassment, but I think he's doing a fairly okay job. More importantly, Alive is going to be able to secure a 4th base here, at least start building that at that location.
That's really going to be key there. It's going to come down to holding that 4th. Killer wants to wait for the Infestors, then combining Fungals and Ultras is going to be his key move to really win these decisive battles. Alive is going to start playing the mobility game, using these medevacs to outmaneuver the Ultralisk.
Yeah, we have another drop heading into the 3rd base here. The top 4 medevacs worth of stuff. 2 Spine Crawlers might not be enough to deal with that at the same time. Sending an army of Baneling landmine, melting away a lot of those Marines. Only a few remaining, but that might be enough to take this hatch. Meanwhile, the drop in the 3rd is dismantling so many drones. Here come the Infestors, the Fungals going down onto the Marines and Marauders at the same time. Killer just going to bust up into the front door of Alive. Alive having to pull some SCVs, but SCVs versus Ultras does not work out so well. A little bit of a base tradey type of situation, but I feel like Alive's production should be good enough to be able to hold these Ultras off.
Yes, it is. As long as he can hold the Ultras off, he's doing so much damage into Killer's main with this drop. The macro hatchet is going down. Next is going to be the high board Ultras Cavern. Killer does not want to get into a base trade versus Terran. He's got to find a way to stop this drop plane.
Yeah, it looks like these ultras are eventually going to go down. Trying to get that production going. That Hatchery managed to stay alive with 63 HP. The drop in the main, cleaning up lots of stuff. One ultra trying to save things, but I think Alive might be okay with this.
He is. There's no spawning pool. There's no ultras cavern. Killer's he can't
Spire.
produce. He can't actually produce combat units. He can only make infestors.
Well, investors are not a bad thing to be stuck to, but I definitely
need something
see
to
your
finish
point.
things
Yeah,
off.
you absolutely do. And the Hive is going to get sniped as well. Bio being so cost efficient here from Alive. Spawning pool being remade. One hero ultra trying to take down this command center at the 4th. And he might be successful. That's going to be very close indeed.
Oh, if he could have taken that down.
It might burn down if he doesn't get repairing that.
Alive lost almost all of his workers, didn't he?
He's down to 26, but Killer's down to 45.
Oh, this hatchery
6
Killer's on the
infestors in
right
production.
side. So low.
It is so low. And there's a drop heading right for it. And that represents
no.
all of the income, except for the hatchery at the natural. But that third might end up falling, and it will. Great pickoff there from Alive, recognizing how low it was. Some Lings being sent into third base here.
Nice little harass here as well, but
every Marauder you can get is great from this ultras in play.
I think Killer may be running out of steam though, because Alive has that planetary. He's got, once he retakes this orbital, he'll have 2 bases mining.
Mules.
The mules alone are going to be more income than Killer, whose Killer is only on 1 hatchery mining right now. Oh no,
my
the
God.
infestors!
Yeah, you don't lose infestors. There's the GG from Killer. Alive just spreading out his opponent, just dropping absolutely everywhere. Killer at the start looked great, felt like he was dealing with it okay, but then he went for this counterattack, and Alive was just killing everything in his main.
It's such a tough spot. Killer played an amazing game, but all of a sudden, Alive was dropping everywhere, and there comes a certain point where you're just like, I can't handle it. And then you just go into counterattack, and that's the point where base trading versus Terran is never going to work, because of course they can lift and then they have mules, and that's the situation Killer was in. He was doing great, just in the drops, just started to just do too much damage. He was forced into that base trade where you just can't win versus Terran.
It's a really cool opening though. I mean, he made that Roach Horn. I think he even showed a Roach. He just made 1 Roach and then went straight into the mutas. Definitely took Alive off guard with those mutas. Delayed that third for quite a long time as well. So Killer definitely setting himself up nicely for the mid game. But then once Alive got that macro going, once he got that third on the ground, he was able to send medevacs absolutely everywhere, and Killer unable to shut that down. And a lot of that has to do with, remember that Widowmine shot that we saw a little bit earlier, taking those mutas way down in health, killing a lot of them. And then as the game went along, Killer just kept losing those mutas. Mutas are a very instrumental part in helping dealing with drop play.
They really are. A really big change of the pace of tempo. Once you lose the mutas, you can't kill the drop ships, and then the ultralists just scrambling around. They can't keep up with it.
All right, guys. Killer losing in game 1, but I think he definitely has the capability to win 2 in a row. So, guys, game 2 is going to be coming up next. Don't go anywhere.